to be back in Buffalo. Senator Gallivan, thank you for your service. In many ways, in uniform, right now in the New York State Senate, I grew up in a trooper household. Sheriff Howard, Senator Gallivan, they're retired troopers. Sheriff-elect Garcia, it's great to be with you. Chairman Langworthy, who's been traveling the state so much, he's been everywhere. Crisscrossing New York over these last few months especially, making a big difference. And if anyone is in government right now, if you're the governor of the state of New York, if you're in charge of the state assembly, the state senate, if you want to have your finger on the pulse of what New Yorkers want, that means that when you go back to Albany in just a couple of weeks, right at the top of your list of things to do should be to repeal cashless mail. All across New York, wherever I go, I could be in the reddest, most conservative Republican counties in New York. I could be in the most Democrat, liberal, blue counties in New York. And people are talking about the desire to support law enforcement more, not less. They want to feel safe being able to walk their streets again. And as they see, not just with the implementation of cashless mail, but the less is more bill that gets signed, Kathy Hochul releases 191 people from Rikers Island, and a whole bunch of them immediately go back out and commit additional offenses. 6 upstate prisons get closed. But Governor Hochul talks about how maybe we should focus more on drug treatment centers. Yeah, well, you just closed as one of the 6 a drug treatment center. This backwards approach, while our corrections officers across the state are facing even more danger every day on the job because people in office don't have their backs. And right now the average New Yorker feels like Governor Hochul and those controlling the state assembly and state senate don't have their backs, don't have their family and community's backs. So we hear stories of someone who's released for arson and then a week later gets charged with a double homicide. Somebody who robs a bank gets released 5 hours later. They are rearrested for robbing more banks. I stood in front of a synagogue in the Bronx where someone had vandalized a whole bunch of synagogues, and we predicted this person would soon get caught and then they would be immediately released. Sure enough, 2 days later, they were caught, charged with over 40 offenses for infringing on religious freedom, vandalizing these synagogues. They were immediately released. We all saw the high-profile Christmas tree in New York City that was just burned down. That arsonist, yeah, that's a story of being released on cashless mail. You saw it in another state. What happened in Waukesha? That story started with that suspect getting released for $1,000. Our judges are in a position to be able to measure dangerousness and flight risk and their past record and make decisions that are best for the criminal justice system and best for making sure our streets belong to law-abiding citizens instead of belonging to criminals. Making sure the handcuffs are on the criminals instead of the cops. And that's what we're focused on as we travel the state. Making sure that this state, instead of attacking safety, we are defending it. And if anybody in Albany in just a few weeks, from Governor Hochul on down, wants to do something about it, I suggest you put at the very top of your list, repealing cashless mail.